What's cracking, everybody? XehrFelrose here, bringing you some Pokemon Go Battle League content. Today's video, we're taking a look at a really interesting team in the Great League here that I got recommended from another trainer who was high up on the leaderboards and saw someone running this team. Not going to reveal names because I know that the leaderboard players like to keep their anonymity, but this team did some really strong, had some really strong results in the Great League, and we're going to be using a Shadow Drapion on the lead here with this team. Now, this team is going to be a bit of an overload strategy, which basically means you're using a really strong Pokemon in the lead that is neutral with a certain typing, and you have something in the back that also covers a very similar role with its typing and moveset, whereas you're just hoping to like play out those leads. And we have Jellicent in the back as our main answer to the ground types that you can already see would be a massive problem for this team, but don't put your doubts into the team just yet. Shadow Drapion on the lead is incredibly versatile and strong, and you have a lot of great leads at this thing. So let's check out this team in the Great League. It's a really strong one, and again, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this trainer was #1 in the world at one point with this team. So this is going to be one of those teams that's like probably much better suited for the meta that they are seeing in the very top of the leaderboards. However, I think it's also really strong and has a very, very good track record here in the Great League with the battles that I play with it. So this first game we see a Dugong lead. I actually am just going to call the Icy Wind. My goodness, my brain is shut off already, dude. Man, it's too early for that to happen. We got to get back into it. Anyway, Icy Wind. The opponent's just going to go Icy Wind. I'm very surprised I don't go for Drill Run here, but this allows me to just go ahead and go for another 4 moves here before the opponent gets to their next move. I'm just going to go ahead and CMP them on every move that they make until I get them basically down into Surf range, which after this next move, they will be able to firm up a little bit more. The shielding decision by the opponent is very strange to me. I'm going to go for the Shadow Ball here. I do not want to risk them potentially, living the Surf and getting another move off. The opponent catches on Toxapex. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to rebank a Shadow Ball here and go into the Clodsire. Hopefully now the opponent is weak in the back to the Jellicent. The fact that they were not willing to swap out, and the best thing that they swapped in after staying in as long as they did was a Toxapex, I'm very hopeful that whatever's in the back does not want to see that Jellicent. So, gonna go for the Earthquake. Almost knocks out, hoping that it's in range of the Sludge Bomb here. We're gonna see if this knocks out. If it's enough, that's gonna be really advantageous for us. But opponent lives on like 3 HP. So, unfortunately, Toxapex is gonna get a shield off us. We do have to shield at some point, knowing that that Dugong is still back there with energy. Opponent comes in with a Marowak. This feels bad, man, because I don't have enough energy on Clodsire to make the difference. Opponent really did not like the Jellicent, but they're going to be able to make a play off the Jellicent here. They're going to be able to pass it. They're basically going to be able to farm down, and then Clodsire is not going to be able to get to the Sludge Bomb it needs to get the knockout here. Even though I have a shield, they have basically 2 moves, so I have to let one go and shield the next. But if I let one of these go, I still have to throw a move into the Dugong, and I'm already just too low to be able to even win this game. So, opponent going to go for the Bung Club. I'm just going to let it go. I know I've lost here, but we're going to go ahead and try again with the next game. So, let's see how we manage after this. Well played to the opponent. Next game up, we got Drapion on the lead versus a Shadow Feraligatr. This is a pretty positive matchup. However, if either one of us tanks any of these charge moves, we pretty much have to get farmed down afterwards. So it's going to be a 2-shield, most likely, matchup. What I'm looking to probably do here is shield at least once, because I know if I let one Hydro Cannon go, we are going to basically get farmed down. I have to play out these leads with Drapion. Right, I have something in the back. Both Pokemon in the back are not exactly what I would call comfortable here into Shadow Feraligatr. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a little tricky bait here and see if I can get the shield. The opponent already invested with that much energy. They overfarmed. I feel like they're definitely going to shield, so going for that bait was necessary. And now we can simply just shield one more time, get to the crunch before they get to their next move. However, the opponent makes a really nice catch here onto what looks to be, I think that was a Charjabug. No, that's a, no, that's not a Charjabug. That is much bigger than a Charjabug. But we're going to be able to rebank this crunch, come in with Clodsire on the aerial ace that they would have had to throw to get rid of the Drapion, and we're able to tank this energy, and now we can over farm if we need to as well. I'm actually thinking at this point, I'm going to fully farm this down. These Poison Stings are chunking the rest of the Superior, so we should absolutely be able to get this farm down, and then hopefully Jellicent is going to be able to clean up in the back. We do have some energy on Drapion. If the opponent basically, if they come in here with the Feraligatr, I immediately go for the Earthquake. The opponent comes up with something else, we just adjust. They see the water typing in the top right, and I'm going to go for the Earthquake right away. I could have gone for Sludge Bomb, but wanted to make sure that we got the KO. And then the opponent has a Clodsire of their own in the back, and I'm going to go for the Earthquake here and then show them my Jellicent. We have energy on Drapion. We have the ability to get to a Surf and Earthquake. We pretty much just, there's nothing the opponent can do in this case, unfortunately, because Jellicent can easily tank two Earthquakes here. That's going to be a good game. Well played. Now, if you got to catch these live, love to see you back in the videos. Welcome back. The awesome thing about this team is that I actually was able to sit in with Home Slice Henry as he was kind of taking me through some of the matchups and how he'd play them. And I really recommend it. Like, both he and I are coaches on Metafy, but I swear that guy has got like a third eye that is opened up. Really awesome to see him grow too. As I remember back when he was about where I am. It's really awesome. Sandslash is going to come in to make a really, really nice catch on the Sludge Bomb. The nice thing here for me, though, is that I have a bunch of energy, and the opponent can't knock me out with one move, and they're now in Earthquake range by taking that Sludge Bomb. So the interesting thing is that the Shadow gets one shot by Earthquake. The non-Shadow actually lives the Earthquake from Clodsire. I can always just go straight for Earthquakes here and let these moves go. I don't feel like I need to shield anything here, because if I do, unfortunately for me, that means that the opponent's basically going to be able to throw another move like they just did. But we live on 1 HP with Clodsire, so I decide to bank the Sludge Bomb, and the opponent's going to come in with a Drapion in order to answer my Jellicent. I've got a lot of energy, and they basically have just thrown, so I should be able to go one and then the move, and then one Hex, and then the Surf, and I should be able to do that at least once, maybe twice, if possible, depending on how good their timing was. We should, however, be in a good position here, because we're going to be able to potentially, I could shield here, or I could let my Drapion try and clean up, but we're going to go for the one and then the move once again, and then I can, if I want to, try and catch a Crunch on my Drapion. I'm not really wanting to do that, but I'm going to go ahead and just make them think that they need to throw, and then I'm going to, in the middle of that Hex, I'm going to hit the swap button, quickly snipe with the Aqua Tail, but the opponent just as quick. Really good catches on the opponent's side here. They're going to be able to bring in the Azumarill. However, I should be able to get this farm down. Never mind, I lied. But if this is a player off, we're down. But in this case, we do have Jellicent. We have enough HP left on the Drapion, so go 2 and then the move here. And the reason why is because it's getting as much energy as we possibly can without taking that second bubble, which now allows us to get to the Aqua Tail. If I'd thrown on good timing there, I think that I would have actually... I could have maybe thrown a good timing, but I might not have been able to survive. But at that point as well, I'm also considering that I need to be able to live the Poison Stings if I don't have the move banked. So thankfully here, 2 Surfs should be enough to take out the opponent's Alolan Sandslash, and Jellicent is locking in a game here that we can just go for 1 and then the move, and then the opponent doesn't have the energy, as they had just thrown both those Ice Punches and pretty much swapped out up until coming back in at this point. So good game to the opponent here. Very well played. Next game up, we got Drapion on the lead versus a Shadow Sableye. This is a pretty good matchup. We just have to make sure that they don't land a Gleam here. So I'm going to go straight for the Crunch here. Normally, I can go for it right away on 5 or on 6. I went for it on 6 here just in case they tried to swap and catch. But we go for 6, knowing that they're now at a Gleam. They can go for it. They'll go for it. Like, they're either going to bait me or they're going to go for the Gleam here. But now they're in range of Aqua Tail. I just need to make sure that I'm keeping track of their energy, and the opponent is not able to get to another Gleam yet. I just want to make sure they can't get to a second Gleam before I throw this energy. If they want to shield, then that's fine with me. Now, I make a mistake here, and the opponent is going for a charge move. They are at the next Gleam. I let it go, unfortunately, but I'm also liking the chance to farm down here with Jellicent or Clodsire. So I'm actually going to go for Jellicent here, just in case they are able to get to a move against the Clodsire. I'd rather not have to take the energy. And then hopefully the loaded Jellicent here is going to be able to help us achieve victory. We're going to go into, or the opponent's going to go into a Weezing, and I'm kind of like, I forget for a moment that I need to basically go 1 and then the move here because they get to Brutal Swing so quickly. So opponent now makes his swap and a catch onto Lapras. This just got really uncomfortable. I'm going to be able to go for another Shadow Ball here and get the shield possibly, but Clodsire is looking really, really scared in the back here. So I'm going to get the shield. I'm going to hope that the Earthquake's going to be enough by the time I get there. I do have a shield to use if I need to. But what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to farm up to the Earthquake, since I would need at least the Earthquake, if not maybe a little bit more anyway. And then I'm going to over-farm here because I figure the opponent has enough for 2 moves they're going to end up throwing here. So Sparkling Aria is going to do quite a bit of damage, but we can go to 100 energy. I should have thrown one sooner, though. I threw one too many. The opponent went one and then the move and didn't instantly switch here, but because of the extra energy we have, we should hopefully be able to get to an Earthquake now before the opponent can get to a Sparkling Aria or before they can farm us down. We're committing to the Earthquake. Clodsire hanging on with the Earthquake. Is it enough to take out the Lapras from this range? Yeah, it is. Thankfully, we're going to take that one. Well played. Good game. And next game up, we're going to have Shadow Drapion on the lead here against a Claydol. Really tough lead for us, but we get to 2 moves if the opponent doesn't KO with the Rock Tomb on bad timing. So we go for 7 here and go for the Aqua Tail. That leaves us within the range of being able to go 1 Poison Sting and then the next Aqua Tail, and that makes these Claydol very uncomfortable here. But the opponent here throws right away, not willing to cede any HP further or a shield potentially. So now I'm going to come in with my Jellicent here, and I can win CMP into this thing, so that's what I'm going to try to do. I just want to get rid of it, right? I don't want to give this thing a chance to stay alive and go into my Clodsire and have a bad time there, so we're just going to go straight for the Surf. Opponent has a Furret in the back, and this is really scary. Jellicent aligned to the thing that I do not want to deal with, but the opponent not answering my Clodsire swap. So either they are trying to chip and dip, or perhaps they are weak in the back to Clodsire, which I am hopeful, because that keeps this Furret off of my Jellicent, which the opponent kind of needs, and they are weak in the back. The Togetic now comes in, and we can go for Sludge Bombs. Opponent can go for Psyshocks. I'll respect the damage of 1 super effective Psyshock. I'd rather not tank that, but we can go for the Sludge Bomb. This probably isn't going to be enough to KO, but now the question is it going to leave them in range for a farm down, or is it going to leave them in range to basically be I have to throw a move here? So I'm going to look to go for a 1 shield, potentially farm down. I think Psyshock is 5-4, so that means they're on their 5 cycle. We can get the Sludge or the Poison Sting farm down, and I have 2 moves to throw into this Furret, which I would basically need 2 moves to get a knockout anyway, so we are going to be able to get the shield off the opponent here, and now all shields are down. If I can get to 2 moves here, we're in a good spot, or potentially even land a move with my Jellicent. I get the back-to-back Sludge Bombs here. Is it going to be enough? It doesn't look like it'll be just enough. I'm going to go for 1 more Poison Sting, and the opponent has to farm down here in order to win the game. We're going to go for the second Sludge Bomb. Is it enough? It's exactly enough. You saw me panic swapping into the Jellicent. It was just enough, barely. So this first set, we get a 4-1. I hit some very just like not very good for YouTube comps, like just stuff that I had no play into, and it really wasn't worth showing because I mean, if you guys want to, it's all live on the recording, the stream recording. I leave those up for a reason so that if anybody wants to go and just see how the sets went, they can do so. We ended up getting the 4-1 that you just saw, 2 3-2s. We did get a 1-4 in there because unfortunately it happens sometimes. But then we ended up getting a 4-1, which is the final set that we're on right now, to be able to get some good gains on the day. Opponent is going to shield the first and let the second go. I'm double shielding, and I'm going to look to farm down. I was hoping that I could go and make that catch on my Clodsire like I did last time, but unfortunately, I was not paying as good of attention as I could. Now, opponent is going to bring in a Gastrodon here, and I'm kind of forced to bring in my Jellicent, and I make a pretty critical misplay in not remembering that I lose CMP to the stupid Slug. It's one of those things, it's like, do I really lose CMP to this with my Jellicent? But yeah, so I could have gone for a Surf here before they got to the move, and iPhone does iPhone things. I will be able to get another Hex in here at least, so I can try and make up for lost energy. Opponent Sableye is basically at no HP, so I'm just watching for a catch, and they have Wigglytuff. That is the best possible thing they could have had in the back. I'm going to bring in my Clodsire with absolutely no delay here, and if the opponent tries to make a catch, I'm just making sure that my moves are thrown on good timing, and they're not going to be able to catch a move here, and if they do, I mean, Clodsire's got enough bulk to get to 3 Sludge Bombs if it needs to, but I'm going to make sure they're in the middle of a Charm animation when I go for that extra Poison Sting, and then I'm going to do the same thing again. I'm going to go for one of them move, and if they don't throw, then I'm going to go and just get straight to the Poison Stings. The opponent is going to go down after failing the catch, and good game to them. Next game up, Drapion versus Weezing. This is a pretty nice lead, especially because most of them are on Brutal Swing Sludge. The opponent brings in a Blastoise, and I have a strong answer to Blastoise. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go for 6 Poison Stings and then swap to catch it on my Jellicent. and also get a Hex through, which is really, really nice here. I can overfarm. Opponent likely on either Skull Bash or Ice Beam is really the only other two moves you can have. And they're just going to go straight Hydro Cannon, which it doesn't matter what they have because they'll always just prefer to go Hydro Cannon here, no matter what their second move is. So Jellicent is going to lock down this Blastoise, and hopefully that means we can get a nice farm down here after the opponent throws this next Hydro Cannon. If they decide to maybe try and make a snipe play, they could, but I don't think they will. And they're going to go down to the Hex down, and now they're going to bring in the Guzzlord. This is going to be a bit of a tough order here, but since their lead was pretty weak to Drapion, we're going to just go ahead and come in with Clodsire here and just try to see what we can do with this thing. The opponent's Guzzlord is pretty much their only win condition at this point, so we'll be able to go for as much damage as possible with Clodsire. Opponent probably going to try to make a catch at some point, so I'm just keeping my eye out on it, prioritizing throwing on good timing where I can here, and Drapion is just in the back with as much energy as it needs. I don't invest any shields here into the Clodsire because I have the energy that I need is on Drapion, and honestly, I just save my shields for that, and that's fine. The opponent's Guzzlord is now in a range where it would basically get taken out nearly by a crunch. Not quite yet, but very close. And I'm forcing them to throw energy by staying in here. I could have gotten to another Sludge Bomb, and that would have pretty much knocked out the Guzzlord. So they're basically out of energy now. I have 2 shields. I'll be able to go for a couple here. I just want to land this crunch while I know they're in the middle of a fast move so that they can't catch it. We get rid of the Guzzlord, and we have 2 shields up on Weezing. We're going to need 3 Aqua Tails to knock out the non-Shadow Weezing. It might be a couple Aqua Tails and some Poison Stings if it was the other. I know that this is a brutal swing. You know that this is a brutal swing. But I have 2 shields. I have to shield something at some point, so I'm going to go ahead and shield now. And now we're just going to be able to go basically double Aqua Tail. The opponent's going to need to land a very Hail Mary outrage, my goodness, overheat or something in order to be able to knock us out. But we're going to get to the Aqua Tail before the opponent can get to the moves they need, and that's going to be a good game. Well played. Next game up, Shadow Drapion's going to be leading into a Klefki. This trainer is a Spice Lord, and I respect it. But because they're usually on Astonished with Klefki, this is a basically negative situation for the both of us where it's very neutral. But I do have the harder, or not harder, but the quicker hitting Aqua Tails here. So I can go for a couple Aqua Tails before the opponent can get to what would hopefully be, or for them, would be a Play Rough. They're going to be running Foul Play, Flash Cannon, or Play Rough, I believe, is the moveset. I wasn't even aware of Flash Cannon until somebody told me. I just know it runs Play Rough and Foul Play. So I'm expecting them to go for the Play Rough, and they do. And so now I can go for 4 more Poison Stings and look to secure a knockout or a shield with Drapion. Hopefully the knockout, because this thing's kind of a pain in the back line here. So we do get the knockout. That's really nice. They're going to bring in Guzzlord, and I don't really have a strong response to Guzzlord, but because I only have 1 really neutral response and 1 terrible response in Jellicent, I'm just going to stay in and do as much damage to this Guzzlord as I can. Maybe get a shield off of them right here, which is really nice. We get the shield down, and now Clodsire can come in and tank the energy. Opponent has a Blastoise. I'm going to do the same thing I did in the last game. I'm going to go ahead and bank energy, and I'm going to swap in my Jellicent. That's one of the best things that you can do if you have something like Jellicent that completely dominates a matchup like this. We can just go for Shadow Balls here. I'm going to overfarm, expecting them to throw, but we end up CMPing anyway. I was kind of hoping to just get the extra Hex in without having to worry about being CMP'd, but they have basically, I think, 2 Hydro Cannons at this point, so I'm just going to go for Shadow Balls. Clodsire, I can save the shield for. If I can just get rid of the shield off the opponent here, they might even be in a range where an Earthquake might be enough here, but we're going to go for the Shadow Ball. Opponent not able to catch it this time, so they're looking to try and get rid of this thing, but honestly, I'm very fine with just going for the Hex down. The opponent makes a swap here, trying to maybe take us by surprise here. The Jellicent was extremely low, but we're going to be able to just land this Earthquake. I'm not going to go for timing here because the opponent is basically in range of Earthquake. I want to get rid of it before it can do any more damage, and we can just Poison Sting down with Clodsire. And even we don't even need to shield this because we know we live it, because Clodsire is just too thick, but they have 2 moves. I will shield 1 because the Poison Sting that goes through now will win us the game here, and that's going to be a good game. Well played to our opponent. I need to figure out a Blastoise team. That thing looks like so much fun, but every time I use it, I get dogged on, man. Neutral lead in the very next game here, we're going to be seeing a mirror lead. We're just going to go straight for the Aqua Tail. I've learned the wrong way to play this matchup is to keep farming. So I'm going to go for the first Aqua Tail right away, and then I'm going to go for the second one, and I am now able to know that I win CMP. My Drapion doesn't have amazing IVs, but it's going to do better than like a rank 1, for example. So we're going to be able to go for the Aqua Tails here, winning both CMP ties, and at this point, I just let this go and then maybe come in with farm on Jellicent, depending on what the opponent does here. Now, opponent's going to go ahead and let that go. So will I. That's fine. I will swap straight to Jellicent here because we're going to be able to get the energy. And honestly, the reason for this play here is because if they have a Dark-type Drapion in the front, they're probably weak-ish to Ghosts in the back. My opponent was completely dominant by Jellicent in the back, apparently, and that's a good game to them. But we have the Drapion back for revenge in the next game here. We're going to be looking to go and do the exact same thing as last time because, hey, it won us a game. It worked. So we'll continue to do it the same way until it stops working, and that's one of the important things. You can just learn to adjust. If something doesn't work, try it a different way next time until it does work, and then just stick with what works so you can remain consistent. Opponent's going to go for the Aqua Tails here. We do get the opponent to catch on the Azumarill, but the nice thing about Azumarill, we have really good answers in the back for this. I'm going to go ahead and get a ton of energy here. I'm going to go for 7 Poison Stings and look to try and catch a Ice Beam on my Jellicent, but the opponent, very nice patience here, goes ahead and holds on to their energy, and they're going to go for a Play Rough most likely into my Jellicent. Well, we can live 2 of these, which is nice to know, but the amount of energy that is sitting on Drapion right now is incredibly important, and one of the really awesome things about this team is just Drapion energy always does something, it seems. So I have a call to make here. I'm thinking of whether or not I want to shield this. It was really just kind of a, I don't know if I want to do this or not, but now the opponent's going to bring in their Jellicent. They're going to bring in their Drapion into my Jellicent here. I'm actually going to go for one of them to move, and then I'm going to go for the double Aqua Tail that I have on my Drapion and bank the energy on my Jellicent. The opponent is going to be going down to the CMP tie here. The Aqua Tail is reached. We had so much extra energy. It was very simple for us to come in. Now we've fished both shields off the opponent. Jellicent has a move. It has the Surf, so I can come in. I could go for 2 hexes if I want to and go for the Surf because I know that they just threw, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. And we're just 1 away from another Surf if we need it. We're 2 away from a Shadow Ball. Jellicent still has enough health to maybe do something. And the opponent comes in with Drift Blim, and I didn't see them say they swapped. Did we land the Shadow Ball on the Drift Blim? No, the opponent made an amazing catch on their Azumarill, and unfortunately that is going to cost us the one time where we actually would have liked to have Stone Edge. Unfortunately, not going to be in this game. I will try my best to see if the Sludge Bombs will add up and do enough, but realistically, they won't. They're resisted. This is a non-Shadow Drift Blim, and they're on Hex. They're going to be taking my attack stat down faster than I can blink by going for these Icy Winds, and I'm forced to shield one. I'm basically going to see if I can bank some energy here, but my Jellicent, my switch time is not available yet, nor is it going to be available before I finish this charge, or before they get to another charge move, basically. So I'm going to look to try and make a catch. Opponent has great patience, as they've shown all match, and they completely outplay me, but we're still able to make a 4-1 set to make some pretty decent gains. I think we gained about 80 elo over the course of the day with this team. So it was a very positive team. I can really recommend it, and I know that the person whose team this was in high, like, leaderboard elo. I'm sorry for exposing the team. Man, this team was good, and my MO is to share teams that work with my community. So thank you all very much for watching. Appreciate the trainer who ran the team. I appreciate the trainer who relayed the person's team to me, and I appreciate all of you for watching. So thank you guys very much. We'll catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.